What was the process of Spencer Danielson convincing Dirk Cutter to end retirement and help him chase championships? You'll hear from both Spencer Danielson and Dirk Cutter in less than an hour. Welcome back to Idaho Sports Talk. This is Prater in the ball game. Prater, we are in the rowpaint.com studio.
Aha!
We say that every day,
but
on
it's
this
never
show.
Sounded so good as it did just now.
I'm wearing my row paint t-shirt right now, Prater. A little kiss, little smoochies there for row paint. You got your hat behind us, and Prater, really, the people who sponsor this show typically appreciate what we do, and they support us, and they support the sports scene in Boise. And our main man, Andy Rowe, in studio of the rowpaint.com studio, is one of the biggest sports fans and supporters in this town. Andy Rowe, welcome to your studio.
Hey, guys, what's up? I'm blushing over here. My goodness. And I got to say, it's great that Johnny's wearing the Row Paint shirt because the option was he wasn't going to wear any shirt. So we're all cheering for that.
Yeah.
That has happened before, by the way. And it probably will happen again next week.
So, yeah, we just, first off, thanks for joining us. We're going to talk mostly sports here, but we just want to take the time. I know hopefully everybody listening, the reason we get to do cool shows and have fun shows like this is because guys like Andy Rowe. So Andy Rowe, appreciate you, bud. This is fun, man. Welcome back.
Hey, I appreciate you guys. And it's great sitting in the studio here. It's quite cozy. You've loved what you've done with the place.
You do, yeah.
Oh, hold on to those thoughts. We're going to wrap up this conversation in about 10, 15 minutes. We need you to critique the studio.
Oh, okay. I'll start making notes now.
Yeah.
Mental notes.
We're going to ask, big Boise State fan, Andy Rowe, you heard what I was saying there. Dirk Cutter, Spencer Danielson. Does that still surprise you that Dirk Cutter's the coordinator of this team?
I was shocked. I actually got a text from a family member, and I was like, what? I did not think we'd see Coach K again, but I'm, over the moon, obviously, that he's back.
Now, you have a long relationship with Boise State sports and this community, and, we won't go too far back into your business, but, just your relationship with Boise State and sports. Where did that all start? Because you're a massive supporter. Oh, by the way, I love your Leon Rice commercial. I have to Ballgame, and I have to look at that every single week when we do our BNN live hits. And that's funny, man. I mean, you need to work on your free throw shooting, but that's funny.
It was a great shoot. I mean, the fun thing about that is Coach Rice. He was a blast to work with, and you can see the perfectionist that he is in coaching. When you do a project like that, he wanted to get every shot right. Wow. Little fun fact about that, most people don't know, it took us 90 minutes to get me to miss a free throw. And so there we were able to, make it cook. I couldn't help myself.
Andy Rowe in studio.
But you avoided the question. Let's go all the way back. How far back does your Boise State fandom go, and where did it start?
Man, I got to say, as soon as I could watch TV, I can remember watching football with my dad and brothers. And, Dad's team was the 49ers, so big Niners fan, heartbroken over missed the Super Bowl, but Boise State football from the very beginning. I was a little kid in the 80s, and so I can't say I remember the national championship. I was about 2 then, but pretty much everything after that. So all through the 80s, I grew up with a lot of heartbreak because Johnny Mallory, your Idaho Vandals,
my man John Welsh,
beat us down every year. In fact, my dad was a firefighter, and so I remember the night before one of the Idaho games, and I was probably like 8, maybe 10. And Dad calls me from the fire station. He said, now listen, tomorrow I want you to be prepared that your Broncos are probably going to lose. And I remember being like, Dad, don't say that. And I was just so upset. Sure enough, we lost the next day. So, but I was part of the field storming when we finally got over the hump with Hildy and Akibi.
In 94, you were one of the field stormers in 94?
Yep, I was there. We were trying to, in fact, I wrapped my arm around Hildy on KTVB and said, Hildy for governor, which my classmates gave me a lot of crap for at school the next day, but I don't care. That was
back then, he might have had a shot to win the thing.
Yeah.
Tony Hildy. That was a big name here. Andy Rowe, that's the voice you're hearing of Rowe Paint, of the rowpaint.com studio, massive sports fan. I didn't know that, Andy, that you went all the way back, really your entire life. You are a lifelong Boise State fan. So I respect your opinion on this. Did you have a favorite era of Boise State football? Might be easy just to say the Kellen, the 50-3 era, but maybe some others when you were coming up when it wasn't as big of a deal. It felt like it was more of a niche thing, like a cult fan base in the 90s. What were your thoughts in your favorite era?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. Obviously the Kellen years, you can't be a Boise State fan and not love that time period.
Yeah.
They were so incredibly dominant. It was it was awesome to watch. I think as a kid, it was heartbreaking because we couldn't get past that hump with Idaho, but probably, I think it was that year, 94, when we went into the playoffs and made the run.
Yep.
And I think it was Marshall Thundering Herd came to town. They
Yep.
were, I think they had been in the national championship or defending national championship. And they were beating us. And it was the third quarter. I think it was a pass over the middle of the Shrek. We get this first down we need. And from there we started, we did it. We pulled it off. And obviously we didn't get the national title that year. We lost to Youngstown State, but it was, that was a pretty spectacular year. And it was the last year with Pokey, after that he got sick. And so that was that. I think that was a really magical year.
Yep.
Obviously we were all heartbroken to lose Pokey and the way that we did back then.
Yep. Do you have a favorite coach and or player? I mean, there's hundreds of thousands of them through 30 years. So is there one coach or one player that you still a memory or just gives you the hair on the back of your neck stand up a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, it's you can't beat Coach Pete. I mean, there's a lot of great coaches and I love them all, but I think Coach Pete and his outlook on life and how that resonated with me as a business owner, as just a human being. I mean, when he retired, none of us were ready for it. And that quote, I'll probably butcher it, but a man has two lives and the second begins when he realizes he only has one. I mean, mind blown. Just like there he is again, Coach Pete being Coach Pete.
Wow.
Nobody expected him to retire,
but
there he is. And just, he's such a wonderful human being. I remember running into him and his wife on a Sunday at, I want to say Winco. There he was, he's the head football coach, but there he is on a Sunday, just shopping with his wife, like a normal guy. And just
like
just
JP shopping at Winco so we can save $6.
Absolutely. Following in JP's footsteps. So definitely Coach Pete. As far as a player, and I know these are definitely the cliche answers, but I mean, it's hard to beat Kellen. I mean, what he did, and just the fact that he was just so even keeled with his personality, with his temperament.
Absolutely.
I thought that was amazing. One player I'll throw out that maybe is a little obscure is that national championship game. We might have lost to Youngstown State, but I remember DeJuan Miller getting an interception. And if you guys don't remember DeJuan Miller, he had one of his arms. He only had one arm. He was missing. He was an amputee, and he was such a tough player. And he just showed that, like, don't complain about the cards you've been dealt. Get out there and kick ass.
He started, right?
Yeah.
Like he was a big player.
I think he was all conference.
Okay.
He may have even scored on that touchdown or on that pick, on that interception. I can't remember, but
I don't think he did, because I remember he blocked it, reached down, and he got the scoop. I don't think he did, but he might have. But he was just such an inspirational player, the fierce competitor in him was just, those are the players that, it's always easy. Boise State, it's blue collar, right? So that's why it's so easy to have so many favorites, guys that are scrappy. And I think that's why it's easy to be involved and such a fan, is that scrappiness and that underdog. It's easy to identify with, especially being a guy that runs a business in the trades,
All right, Andy Rowe, do you have high expectations for Boise State football this year, or super high expectations for Boise State football this year?
I don't know if this whole Danielson Cutter thing is going to work out, if I'm honest.
A little nervous, Andy?
It almost feels like the Super Lakers, where they didn't get a national championship. It's like, we got this team coming together right now. I'm like, should I be nervous? I'm staring at this Kellen Moore calendar here in the studio with roses on it.
Kellen Moore laying on a bed of roses in the rowpaint.com studio.
That's right. I'm wondering if we're going to have some records broken with this quarterback that's coming in. And obviously, I think everybody's probably disappointed to lose Hamden. Hamden's a good dude, part of Boise State culture, but the timing of it hurts. Yeah. But the ability, once again, to go call Clark Kent and have him, take off his glasses, put on his cape, and be like, okay, I got you, Boise, I'm back. And so for Coach Cutter to come in, not only as the offensive coordinator, but the way he can develop quarterbacks, the way he works with quarterbacks, and having Malachi come in, that's extremely exciting. So yeah, I am very optimistic about this team. I'm talking smack to my best friend who loves Oregon nonstop, because maybe the last time I get to do it, but hopefully not. Hopefully we raise the bar to four wins over Oregon.
Will you be at that game?
I'll be at that game.
Of course you'll be at that game. His name is Andy Rowe. He will be there, Prater.
I like that. That's good sports writer analysis. And by the way, Spencer Danielson and Dirk Cutter talking about all the things you just mentioned at 5:00 today. We had a chance to spend a couple of about 90 minutes with coaches down on campus today. I'm gonna tell you to taper your expectations on the quarterback in a record-breaking season. but maybe shift those exact expectations over to Genty. And they very much told us this morning, we're a run first football team. They use that phrase 1,000 times. So I think they're smart enough to figure out Ashton Genty, and then we'll figure it out from there. You could figure it out from there because you just told me, and I've known you for 25, 30 years, and with a personal connection back into the 90s. I had no idea that at one point you were dumb enough to be wanting to be a sports writer.
Oh, man.
And that was your dream as a kid. And you ended up a fancy businessman in one of the most impactful businesses in this entire community. The sports writer transition, how did that work? And how did you end up in the painting business?
Well, I had a very close friend. We shared that in common, a mutual friend, and he was a sports writer for the Statesman. And the
late great Stephen Dodge.
Stephen Dodge, old Dodger, man. I followed him around on more than one assignment. I remember going up to Horseshoe Bend to some rafting thing kayaking thing that he covered once, and just kind of shadowing him. But yeah, no, I mean, I think it was just the love of sports. I was the kid in the tent with the Sports Illustrated and the flashlight, and reading stories. I remember camping once and having this dream about golfing with Joe Montana because I'd been reading this double feature
I do that
article
all the time.
Yeah, right.
I do that all the time.
It's just love of sports, and there's so many analogies from sports. I didn't get to play sports as a kid, so there's a little bit of missing that I wanted to do, be involved in, and be around. And so as you grow up, you get busy and you have a business and a life, and you can't watch and follow as much as you once could. But yeah, I think what you guys do is amazing, and the opportunity to cover what these athletes do and the different angles of it. I think journalism needs to be protected, and the journalism around sports, there's so many human elements, life lessons to take away from it. So I love what you guys do. I think to me, it looks like one of the funnest jobs a person could possibly have.
Absolutely.
Hanging out in this rowpaint.com studio every day with Prater and JP. Yeah. You don't wake up in the morning and say, I don't want to go to work today.
And we're keeping you in those soft row paint shirts. So it's, you're comfy all day long.
Coming, Andy Rowe. You keep giving us gear. We'll even give it away to some of our listeners too. So
we can supply you with that.
This will be a fun one. Prediction, Boise State's football. Actually, we'll get you out of here on this. Let's get a basketball prediction. I know we've been talking a lot of football, but basketball plays tomorrow night. Then they got the conference tournament. Then there's the dance. How do you think it finishes for the basketball team this season, Ro?
Do I answer with my head or my heart?
I think you're going to answer with your heart.
Every year, we look at this. Obviously, we all know the monkey that the basketball program wants to get off their back. But I think what's going to happen is they're going to do it with a vengeance. I don't think they're going to win one, but they're going to win two. I think they're going to make a run.
Sweet 16.
They're going to blow everybody away and say, not only did we get our first victory, we got two of them. And who knows beyond that? We're going down. I'm actually fortunate enough to jump in with BJ down to San Diego tomorrow night, take a look at that game. And
nice.
And San Diego State made a run all the way to the championship last year. We can hang with those teams. We know it. We've got the team. We've got the coach. I think coaches, that whole staff is amazing. And so I think this is the year we get it done.
Well, thank you for joining our palace. Thank you for joining KTIK.com, rowpaint.com studio, and all your support, not only with BJ and BNN, but here at KTIK. And we want to keep rowpaint.com studio alive for many, many years to come. And I guess it's D-Day time, decision time. Well, we got this little dump here that we call home. We love it. It's cluttered. It's gross. It's disgusting, but it's our lovable little palace. What do you think about our little studio?
Well, I'll preface it by this. Rowpaint.com is operated off of the banks of the Boise River in a warehouse for many, many, many years. And our offices are built into the warehouse. And so I've got a small office. I love the warehouse feel. Our team loves the feel of it. And this reminds me of home. It reminds me of that small, intimate, love the pictures, love the decorations. You got great juju happening in here.
Nice.
And you guys got JP in there to keep you in line all day. So, I don't know what more you could ask for in here.
It's a lovely situation. It really is. And that's why you listen to Idaho Sports Talk. Appreciate Andy Rowe from Row Paint for hanging out with us. And Andy, enjoy spring football, enjoy March Madness, and we can't wait to bring you back in your studio whenever you show up, man.
Yeah, go Broncos, and thank you guys at The Ticket, KTIK, for all that you do. We appreciate you.
And likewise, thank you for everything you do, man. It means a lot, and I appreciate you, brother.
Prater, the Ballgame, Idaho Sports Talk, KTIK, The Ticket.
From the Beacon Plumbing Traffic Studios, this is Ticket Traffic.